Have you ever wanted to have control over someone's thoughts without using force? Today, let's dive into an incredible story about the Buddha and a powerful king, and discover 4 ways to destroy your enemy without fighting. In the heart of ancient India, amidst the sprawling kingdoms and lush landscapes, there was a powerful king named Virat. His empire was vast, his army mighty, and his wealth beyond measure. Yet despite his power and riches, King Virat felt a deep emptiness within him. He yearned for something more, something that neither his power nor his wealth could provide. This was the power to control not just the actions, but the very thoughts and minds of others. One day, news reached King Virat of a sage, whose wisdom and tranquility were said to surpass all understanding. This sage was none other than Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha. Tales of the Buddha's serenity, his profound teachings, and his influence over the hearts of people spread far and wide. Intrigued and envious, King Virat decided that he must meet this Buddha and find a way to control him. For he believed that if he could control Buddha, he would be the most powerful man on earth. King Virat, however, was not a man easily satisfied. Used to bending everyone to his will, he was frustrated by the idea of someone beyond his control. His advisors warned him that the Buddha was different from anyone he had ever encountered, but the king, blinded by his desire for absolute power, dismissed their concerns. He was determined to prove that his authority could not be challenged. Despite his immense power and authority, King Virat found himself facing an unusual and disconcerting problem. No matter what he did, he could not influence Buddha's thoughts or actions. This lack of control over Buddha deeply troubled the king, as he was used to people bending to his will. The king's frustration grew with each passing day, and he became consumed with the need to dominate the Buddha's mind. Determined to bend Buddha to his will, the king devised several strategies. He was a man of action, and he believed that every person had a price or a weakness that could be exploited. Thus began his attempts to manipulate Buddha's mind. The king's first strategy was to shower Buddha with lavish gifts. He sent an envoy laden with gold, jewels, and the finest silks to the Buddha's humble abode. The messenger presented the gifts with great fanfare, hoping to entice Buddha with the promise of wealth and luxury. However, Buddha, living a life of simplicity and detachment, remained unaffected. He received the gifts with a serene smile and said, "Material wealth holds no value to one who seeks enlightenment. True riches are found within, in the peace and wisdom of the mind." The gifts were returned to the king with a kind message of gratitude, but no change in Buddha's demeanor. The king was baffled. How could someone remain unaffected by such wealth? He had never encountered anyone who could resist the allure of riches. Frustrated by the failure of his first attempt, the king resorted to a more aggressive approach. He believed that fear was a powerful motivator, and so he decided to use threats and intimidation to bend Buddha to his will. He sent soldiers to the Buddha with a message that warned of dire consequences if Buddha did not submit to the king's authority. The soldiers, fierce and imposing, delivered the message with an air of menace, hoping to instill fear in the heart of the sage. Yet Buddha remained calm and unafraid. His serene smile was unwavering as he addressed the soldiers. "Fear and coercion cannot touch the enlightened mind," he said gently. "True strength lies in understanding and compassion, not in threats and violence." The soldiers returned to the king with Buddha's message, and the king's frustration grew. How could anyone remain fearless in the face of such threats? This was something the king could not comprehend, as he himself ruled through fear and intimidation. In a final desperate attempt, the king invited Buddha to his palace, hoping to intimidate him with his grandeur and power. The palace was prepared with the utmost splendor. Rich tapestries adorned the walls, and the halls were filled with the finest musicians and dancers. The king himself sat on a magnificent throne, exuding power and authority. Buddha accepted the invitation and arrived at the palace with a peaceful aura that seemed to calm the entire environment. The king confronted Buddha directly, demanding obedience. "Do you not see the power and wealth that I possess?" he asked. "Do you not fear my authority?" Buddha looked around the palace and then back at the king with compassion in his eyes. "Great king," he said softly, "you seek to control others to feel powerful. But true power comes not from control, but from understanding and kindness. By letting go of the desire to dominate, you can find peace within yourself and inspire true loyalty and respect from others." At this crucial moment, Buddha's words struck a chord deep within the king. He realized the futility of his efforts to control Buddha and saw the truth in his words. The wisdom and compassion of Buddha's message melted the king's heart. The king was stunned. He had spent his life believing that power and control were the ultimate goals, yet here was a man who possessed a different kind of power, one that was far more profound and unshakable. It was a power rooted in inner peace and compassion, not in wealth or authority. In that moment, the king understood that the real power lay in inner peace and compassion. He bowed to Buddha, not as a sign of submission, but out of deep respect and gratitude for the valuable lesson he had learned. The king no longer sought to control others, but to rule with wisdom and kindness. The king's transformation was remarkable. He began to rule his kingdom with a newfound wisdom, seeking to understand and help his subjects rather than dominate them. His reign became known as one of peace and prosperity, and he earned the genuine respect and loyalty of his people. From this story, we learn that true power comes from understanding and kindness, not manipulation and control. By letting go of the desire to dominate others, we can find peace within ourselves and inspire true loyalty and respect from those around us. Reflect on this powerful story. Consider how you can apply the principles of understanding and compassion in your own life. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you found this story inspiring, don't forget to subscribe for more enlightening content. 4.